All right, so in 7.2, we're going to learn how to find the area of some other quadrilaterals. So the first one we're going to talk about is a trapezoid, right? So a trapezoid is going to have two bases, right? Base 1, base 2. So that's our two parallel sides. So it doesn't matter which one is which. And just like we did yesterday, remember the height always has to make a right angle with the bases, right? So it's going to have to be perpendicular. So it's not going to be a slanted side. But remember, though, sometimes you can have a trapezoid that looks like this, right? Where that side over here would form a right angle. So in that case, this would be your height, as long as it's forming a right angle there. So again, your height for a trapezoid could be either way, as long as it's forming a right angle with your bases. So the formula for the area of a trapezoid, I believe on your formula sheet, it is 1/2 times h times base 1 plus base 2. We're going to do it a little bit differently, so make sure and write it in this format on your formula sheet with your trapezoid. So we're going to add the bases. So you're going to add B1 and B2, multiply that by your height, and then divide that answer by 2. So let's go ahead and apply that to an example. So let's get our trapezoid here. So let's say it has a height of 6. And base 1 can be 10, base 2 can be, let's go with 12. So we're going to add the bases. So again, it's B1 plus B2 times h divided by 2. So again, we're going to add 10 and 12. And remember, we have to add what's in parentheses first. Then we'll multiply that number by 6, then divide by 2. So we'll get 22 times 6 divided by 2. So 22 times 6 is going to give us 132. Then divided by 2 equals 66. So the area of our trapezoid is 66. Okay, the next shape we're going to talk about finding the area for is a kite. So to find the area of a kite, it's typically 1/2 times D1 times D2, so that we're multiplying the diagonals. So again, multiply the diagonals and then divide by 2 is what we're doing here. So again, feel free to update this on your formula sheet. So remember diagonal. So like this would be diagonal 1, right? And then across here would be diagonal 2. So sometimes, right, the book is going to give you just kind of the individual pieces here. So like this could be 10 and this would be 10. And then let's say this is 12 and this is 20. Right, so to get your total diagonal length, like to get D1, you're going to have to add 12 plus 20. And to get D2, you're going to have to add 10 and 10. Right, so that means D1 would be 22 and D2 would be 20. And so that is what you're going to have to do first before you multiply and divide by 2. So you need to pay attention to the numbers that it's giving you and make sure that you're using the entire length of the diagonal. So we're going to have 22 times 20 divided by 2, which is going to be 440 over 2. Which will equal 220. Right, so that is how you find the area of a kite. Right, and then next we're going to find the area of a rhombus, which will use the exact same formula as a kite. All right, so there's really two ways we can find the area of a rhombus. It just kind of depends on the information that you're given. So you do need to pay attention to what you have before you start. So the first one, like I just said, is going to be just like the area of a kite. So it is D1 times D2 divided by 2. So again, we've got D1 and D2, and then we will divide that by 2. So remember, in a rhombus, right, the diagonals bisect each other. So a lot of times you're only going to be given like one piece of D1 and one piece of D2. Oh, sorry, those aren't all 4 congruent. So let's say, for example, that half of D1 here is 4 and half of D2 is 3. So that would make the total length of D1 8, and then the total length of D2 6. So we'll do 8 times 6 and divide that by 2. So we're going to have 48 divided by 2, which is 24. All right, so the other formula that we can use for a rhombus is just like we use for a parallelogram, base times height. So obviously we would have to have the height of this rhombus instead of one of the diagonals, and we would have to have a length of one of the bases. All right, so really any one of these sides, because remember they're all 4 the same in a quadrilateral. So let's say, for example, we're given the height is 5, and let's say the base is 6. Right, so we would do 5 times 6, which means the area of this rhombus would be 30. All right, so either of these will work for a rhombus. It's just going to depend on the information that you are given, so you do need to pay attention. Okay, so that wraps up the notes for 7.2. Please use this to complete your assignment and get it posted to LMS. And please be safe outside if you go out, and enjoy your snow day.